Extra, extra, read all about it. Yo, have you guys heard the news? Wishful Ignorance is insane. Today I'm going to be sharing my Wishful Ignorance Strand Titan build with you guys. Let's jump right in. So for our resistances and our armor stats, we are going to be wanting 100 resilience, 100 strength, and if you can get your discipline up as well, try to get that as high as possible. It will really impact this build and make a big difference. Jumping into our helmet, we are going to be running hands-on, gain bonus super energy on melee kills. We're also going to be running heavy ammo scout and heavy ammo finder. Jumping into the most important part of this build, the Wishful Ignorance. So what the Wishful Ignorance does is it has a perk called Wish Dragon's Talons. Gain an additional Frenzied Blade charge. Frenzied Blade and Fletchet Storm briefly increase their damage with each strike. Pulses from your Banner of War return melee energy based on the number of allies healed. So we are going to be running both Fletchet Storm and Banner of War with this build. So we're going to have an extra melee, and we are going to be generating melee a lot because we are going to be healing our allies with the Banner of War. For the armor mods for this exotic armor piece, we are going to be using heavy-handed. Your powered melee final blows create orbs of power, so we're going to be creating orbs of power every time we get a powered melee final blow, which is going to be a lot. We're also going to be running momentum transfer. Causing damage with a grenade reduces your melee cooldown. So anytime we cause damage with a grenade, our melee cooldown is coming up that much faster. And then bolstering detonation grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade. We're also going to get our class ability back up a lot faster, which later on in the build you'll see our class ability is going to help us generate melee energy. Jumping right into our chest piece. So for our chest armor, our modifications are just going to be basic resistances. For what I have on right now are concussive dampener, solar resistance, and arc resistance. These are all interchangeable depending on whatever encounter you are running, so feel free to switch it up. And then for my leg pieces, I'm going to be running double solar surge because I'm running solar heavy weapon for extra damage, and then I'm going to run invigoration. This is going to reduce melee cooldown each time we pick up an orb, and this is a melee focused build, so it's going to make a big difference in the long run. And then jumping into our class item, we are going to be running triple outreach, guys. So outreach is going to reduce melee cooldown when you use your class ability. So we're going to use our class ability, and we're going to generate a lot of melee cooldown, and it's going to be a great time. Jumping into our weapons, so I'm using Swordbreaker. You can use Rufus's Fury or some other strand weapon here. It'll be a great asset, but you have to see why. So Swordbreaker, I'm using Pugilist and 1-2 Punch, so hitting a target with nearly every pellet in the shot is going to increase our melee damage for a short period, and this is a melee focused build, so that's good. And then Pugilist, final blows with this weapon generate improved melee energy. Dealing melee damage briefly improves this weapon's handling. So essentially we're going to reduce our melee cooldown with Pugilist as well every time we get a shotgun kill with the Swordbreaker. Some great alternatives for this build though are going to be Scatter Signal, Rufus's Fury, or even the Call. They're all great strand weapons, and they would all play a good role in this build. Moving along to the next weapon, we're going to be running Sunshot. If you guys don't know what Sunshot is, you've been living under a rock. Sunshot is the best hand cannon for ad clear in the game. It's better than Zali's Bane, which is also great, but essentially it fires explosive rounds, highlights targets, then take damage from Sunshot, and you just blow everything up on the battlefield with Sunshot. And then for our heavy weapon, we are going to be running Apex Predator. If you've got Reconstruction and Bait and Switch, then you're going to be in good hands because that weapon does insane boss damage. Jumping into our subclass, we are running Berserker Titan subclass, and our super is going to be Blade Fury. We are going to have Blade Fury a lot with this build. It's really fun. It's always up, and it's not always up, but it's up a lot, and it's just great for ad clear and boss damage. For our abilities, we're going to be running Towering Barricade, Strafe Lift, Frenzied Blade, and Grapple. Grapple's interchangeable with the other two, Shackle Grenade and Threadling Grenade, but I have more fun on Grapple, so I run Grapple. And then for our aspects, we're going to be running Fletchet Storm. While sliding, activate your charged melee ability to leap into the air, knocking nearby targets away and dealing damage. While airborne, activate your charged melee again to launch a cluster of damaging, unraveling projectiles. Repeatedly activating melee will chain additional throws. So this paired with our Wishful Ignorance is going to do lots of damage, it's going to clear lots of adds, and it is just going to be it's also great for boss damage if you chain like 4 of the Fledglet Storm unraveling projectiles in a row on a boss. It does chunk them pretty well is what I've noticed. And then we're also going to be running Banner of War. Essentially, Banner of War is defeat a target with a melee attack, so we're going to be doing that a lot. Finisher or sword to raise a Banner of War that pulses with energy, periodically healing nearby allies and increasing melee and sword damage. So a sword would be good in this build as well, but we're going to be mostly utilizing it for melee damage. Anytime we get a melee kill, targets defeated by you and nearby allies are going to charge the banner, and it's going to increase the speed of the pulses, so it's going to heal our allies, and it's going to generate melee energy for us because of Wishful Ignorance. And it's a great aspect to have for this build. Jumping into our fragments, we are going to be using the Thread of Binding. Super final blows emit a suspending burst from the target. So we're going to have our super up a lot, and anytime we get a final blow, we are going to suspend lots of targets around us and help keep us and our teammates alive and prevent us and our teammates from taking damage. So this is a great strand fragment to have on. And then we're going to have the Thread of Propagation as well. Powered melee final blows grant your strand weapons unraveling rounds. So if I wasn't using a shotgun and I was using Rufus's Fury, or I mean it's even good with the shotgun, but Rufus's Fury or the Call or an LMG with strand, this is a great fragment to have, and it's going to help us shoot unraveling rounds, which pierce the shields of barrier champions and stuff. The Thread of Isolation is our next fragment. Landing rapid precision hits emits a severing burst from the target. Essentially, any rapid hit we shoot, a target's going to be severed, which means they're going to do less damage, and once we kill them, a tangle will spawn, and we can use that to blow things up. So Thread of Isolation is an awesome fragment to have for this build. And then for our last strand fragment, we are going to use the Thread of Continuity. Suspend, unravel, and sever effects applied to your targets have increased duration. So essentially it's just buffing up those 3 other fragments we already have on. It's going to make them stronger, going to make them last longer, and it's going to keep us alive and doing more damage with more debuffs longer. But that's the build, guys. This is the Strand Wishful Ignorance Titan. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching, and happy early 4th of July.